The large silver ship appeared in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. Most people did not notice it at first. The ship looked like a cloud, floating high above the blue planet. Only a few scientists with powerful telescopes saw the truth. Dr. Alex Carter was feeding dolphins at the Seattle Marine Center when his phone buzzed. His friend at the observatory was calling with exciting news. Alex listened carefully as his friend explained about the strange object in space. Alex looked up at the sky, but saw only normal clouds and birds. Inside the silver ship, 3 alien beings studied the small blue world below them. The leader was named Kralvex. He had purple skin and 4 eyes that could see many different types of light. His job was to study new planets and the creatures that lived on them. "Begin the assessment," Kralvex told his team. "We need to know if these creatures are dangerous." The aliens had been watching Earth for 3 days. They saw humans walking in cities, driving cars, and working in buildings. To the aliens, humans looked very simple. The creatures could not fly without machines. They could not breathe underwater. They could not even talk to each other across long distances without using tools. Kralvex chose Alex Carter as the main subject for their study. Alex seemed like a normal human. He was 35 years old, had brown hair, and worked with sea animals. The aliens watched him through invisible cameras that followed him everywhere. Alex started his day by checking on the dolphins. He counted them to make sure they were all healthy. Then he prepared their food. The aliens recorded everything. They saw how Alex was gentle with the animals. They watched him clean the tanks and fix broken equipment. "Interesting," said Zaralyn, the second alien. She had green skin and 3 arms. "This creature shows care for other species. But look how weak he is. He cannot lift heavy objects easily. He gets tired after working for only a few hours." The third alien was called Baktev. He was the smallest, but had the biggest brain. "Notice how they make decisions," he said. "They use emotions instead of logic." This Alex creature spends extra time with a sick dolphin. This is not efficient. The aliens continued watching Alex throughout the day. They saw him teach a group of children about ocean life. Alex showed the kids how dolphins could learn tricks. He explained how important it was to keep the oceans clean. The children asked many questions, and Alex answered each one with patience. "He shares knowledge freely," Zaralyn noted. "But the knowledge is very basic. They know little about their own planet's science." At lunchtime, Alex met his friend Jake Morrison at a small restaurant near the harbor. Jake wore a military uniform and looked more serious than Alex. The aliens listened to their conversation. "Something big is happening," Jake told Alex quietly. "We detected that ship 3 days ago. It's definitely not from Earth." Alex nearly dropped his sandwich. "Are you serious? Real aliens?" "Very real," Jake said. "And they're watching us. We can see their scanning beams sometimes. The government is trying to decide what to do." The aliens found this conversation amusing. Kralvex made notes in his report. "The creatures have detected our presence, but they are confused and frightened. Their military leader shows concern, but no real understanding of our capabilities." After lunch, Alex returned to work. He spent the afternoon helping an elderly woman who had lost her way near the Marine Center. Alex walked with her for 20 minutes to find her car. He did not ask for money or thanks. The woman smiled and gave him a small flower from her garden. "Highly emotional behavior," Baktev observed. This creature wasted valuable time helping another creature that offered no benefit to him. In the evening, Alex went home to his small apartment. He cooked a simple dinner and watched the news on television. The news showed wars in distant countries, but also stories about people helping flood victims and scientists discovering new medicines. The aliens watched Alex read a book before going to sleep. The book was about ancient human history. Alex seemed interested in how his people had survived difficult times in the past. Complete assessment summary, Kralvex said to his team. What do we know about these humans? Zara Lynn read from her. Notes. They are physically weak. They cannot survive in space without protective suits. They need to eat every few hours, or they become weak. They sleep for 8 hours each day, making them vulnerable to attack. Bakhtaev added his observations. They make poor decisions based on emotions. They waste time and resources helping others with no benefit to themselves. They have simple technology, but do not understand how it really works. Kralvex nodded and began typing his final report. Species designation: Human. Planet: Earth. Third planet from local star. Assessment level: Class 7 harmless entities. Threat level: minimal. Recommendation: safe for relocation programs. These creatures pose no danger to Federation interests. The report was sent instantly across the galaxy to the Federation Council. Within hours, the decision was made. Humans would be offered 3 small planets in a distant part of space. The Federation thought they were being kind to these simple, harmless creatures. Jake Morrison tried one more time to contact the alien ship. He sent radio messages in different languages and used mathematical signals. The aliens received every message, but chose not to respond. Let them contact us first, Kralvex decided. It will be interesting to see how long it takes these simple minds to understand they are being studied. Alex Carter went to sleep that night, not knowing that his every action had been watched and judged. He did not know that aliens had decided his entire species was harmless. He dreamed about dolphins swimming in crystal clear water, unaware that his future was being planned by beings who thought they understood everything about humans. The silver ship remained in Earth's orbit for one more day, then disappeared into the darkness of space. The aliens were confident in their assessment. Humans were weak, emotional, and no threat to anyone. They would soon learn how wrong they were. 6 months after the alien ship left Earth, a new message arrived. This time, the aliens wanted to talk. The message appeared on every television, radio, and computer screen on Earth at the same time. Greetings, humans of Earth. The message began. The voice was calm and friendly. We are the Galactic Federation. We have studied your species and found you to be peaceful and harmless. We wish to offer you a great gift. People all over the world stopped what they were doing to listen. Alex Carter was at the Marine Center when the message played. He called Jake Morrison immediately. This is really happening, Alex said into his phone. What do you think they want? Jake was at a military base, surrounded by generals and scientists. I don't know, but I don't trust it. Nobody gives gifts without wanting something back. The alien message continued. Your planet Earth is becoming crowded and polluted. We offer you 3 beautiful new worlds where your people can live and grow. These planets have clean air, fresh water, and rich soil for farming. The message showed pictures of the 3 planets. They looked amazing. Green forests covered rolling hills. Blue oceans stretched to distant horizons. The aliens called them Terra Nova, New Eden, and Haven's Rest. We will provide transportation and basic tools to help you start your new lives, the voice explained. Consider this our gift to help your species survive and grow. Dr. Susan Miller was a geologist working in Colorado when she heard the message. She had always dreamed of studying new worlds. Her first thought was about the rocks and minerals these planets might contain. Captain Lisa Brooks was a former astronaut who now trained other space travelers. When she heard about the new worlds, she immediately volunteered to lead the first group of colonists. The Federation gave Earth 1 year to prepare. They said that 50,000 humans could go to each planet. The aliens would provide ships and supplies for the journey. Colonel Ryan Hayes was put in charge of security for the colony ships. He had fought in 3 wars and knew how to keep people safe. But something about the aliens' offer worried him. Why would they give us their planets? Ryan asked during a meeting with other military leaders. What do they get out of this deal? General Patricia Stone, the highest-ranking officer on the project, shared his concerns. Maybe they really are just being kind. But we need to be ready for anything. Alex Carter signed up to go to Terra Nova. He wanted to study the ocean life on the new planet. His friend Jake Morrison also volunteered, but for different reasons. Someone needs to watch out for trouble, Jake told Alex. These aliens might seem friendly, but I want to be ready if they're not. Dr. Susan Miller chose to go to New Eden. She packed her geological equipment and samples from Earth rocks. She wanted to compare Earth minerals with whatever she might find on the new planet Dot as the year passed. The colonists prepared for their journey. They learned basic alien technology and studied the information the Federation provided about their new homes. The aliens seemed helpful and patient with human questions. Captain Lisa Brooks worked day and night to understand the alien spacecraft. The ships were huge, capable of carrying thousands of people across the galaxy in just a few weeks. The technology was far beyond anything humans had ever built. How do these engines work? Lisa asked the alien technicians. You do not need to understand, they replied politely. We will operate the ships. You must focus on preparing your people for their new lives. This answer bothered Lisa, but she did not argue. She spent her time making sure the colonists would have everything they needed on the new planets. The aliens provided seeds for Earth crops, basic manufacturing equipment, and simple medical supplies. They also gave the humans some alien technology, but only the most basic items. Commander Kate Sullivan was an expert in communications. She noticed that the alien equipment seemed very old and simple compared to their spacecraft. It's like they're giving us their leftover tools, Kate told her team. The stuff they don't need anymore. Dr. Rachel Green was a botanist who specialized in growing food in difficult conditions. She studied the alien seeds carefully and noticed something strange. These aren't regular Earth plants, she told her assistant. They've been changed somehow, modified to grow in different soil and air. The day finally came for the first ships to leave Earth. 50,000 colonists boarded 3 massive alien vessels. Alex Carter found himself sharing a room with 5 other people during the journey. The trip would take 3 weeks. During the flight, the colonists got their first real look at alien space. Through the ship's windows, they saw stars and planets, unlike anything they had imagined. Some colonists were excited, others were scared. Jake Morrison spent his time talking to other colonists who had military or police experience. We need to stay organized, he told them quietly. We don't know what we'll find when we get there. Dr. Susan Miller used the journey time to study the information about their destination planets. She noticed that the geological surveys seemed incomplete. Many important details were missing. When the ships finally arrived at the 3 new worlds, the colonists were amazed by their beauty. Terra Nova had vast oceans filled with strange but friendly sea life. New Eden had mountains rich with minerals and crystals. Haven's Rest had perfect weather and soil, ideal for farming. The aliens helped the colonists set up their first settlements. They provided construction robots and energy generators. But after just 2 weeks, the alien ships prepared to leave. Will you visit us again? Captain Lisa Brooks asked the alien commander. Perhaps, the alien replied. We will monitor your progress from a distance. If you need help, send a message. After the aliens left, the colonists began to truly explore their new homes. Dr. Susan Miller made the first important discovery. While examining rock samples near her base camp, she found something the aliens had not mentioned. These mountains are full of rare minerals, she told the other scientists. Some of these elements are incredibly valuable. Why didn't the aliens tell us about this? Commander Kate Sullivan had been setting up communication equipment between the three colonies. She discovered that the alien technology could be modified to do much more than the aliens had explained. This isn't just a simple radio, she told her team. With some changes, we could scan deep space, maybe even detect approaching ships. Colonel Ryan Hayes had been organizing the colonists into work groups, but he was also quietly setting up security teams and training schedules. He called them safety drills and work coordination meetings. Alex Carter found the oceans of Terra Nova filled with amazing creatures. Some were similar to Earth fish, others were completely unlike anything he had ever seen. But he also noticed something else. The coastlines are perfect for harbors, he told Jake Morrison. And these underwater caves could hide submarines if we ever needed them. As the months passed, the three colonies grew stronger. The colonists worked hard to build homes, farms, and workshops. They also began to understand that their new worlds were far more valuable than the aliens had suggested. Dr. Rachel Green's modified crops grew better than anyone expected. The alien seeds had been changed to extract nutrients from soil that Earth plants could never use. The colonists would never go hungry. But late at night, when the alien moons cast strange shadows on their new homes, some colonists wondered about the real reason they had been given these planets. The Federation had seemed too eager to help, too quick to give away valuable worlds. Jake Morrison stood guard during his night shift and looked up at the unfamiliar stars. Somewhere out there, the aliens were watching and waiting. He did not know what they were waiting for, but he intended to be ready when the time came. The three colonies had no idea that they had been placed in the most dangerous part of the galaxy, far from Federation protection. They did not know that their new homes were meant to serve as an early warning system for threats that even the powerful Federation feared. But humans had always been good at surviving in difficult places. Soon, they would show the galaxy just how wrong the aliens had been about their harmless assessment. 5 years had passed since the humans arrived on their new worlds. The colonies had grown beyond what anyone expected, including the aliens who continued to watch from afar. Tony Rodriguez had become the chief engineer on Terra Nova. Before leaving Earth, he had worked in copper mines in Arizona. Now he was discovering that these alien mountains contained metals more valuable than gold. Look at this. Tony showed his mining team a chunk of blue crystal. This stuff is harder than diamond, but lighter than aluminum. The aliens must not have known it was here. Tony had started with the simple mining tools the aliens provided. But within 2 years, he had built new machines that could dig deeper and faster. His team extracted more rare minerals in 1 month than the aliens thought possible in a year. The alien observers recorded this activity, but dismissed it as luck. Their reports to the Federation stated, humans continue basic resource gathering. No signs of advanced technological development. Dr. Rachel Green had transformed farming on New Eden. The hybrid seeds the aliens gave them were just the beginning. Rachel had studied plant genetics her whole life, and she knew how to make improvements. In her underground laboratory, Rachel created new types of crops that could grow in any soil condition. Her wheat grew twice as tall as Earth wheat. Her vegetables contained more nutrition than anything that had ever existed. We're not just feeding our people, Rachel explained to her assistants. We're creating a food supply that could feed 10 times our population. The alien watchers saw large farms and healthy crops. They wrote in their reports, human agricultural instincts functioning as expected. Population growth stable. General Ryan Hayes had quietly built something the aliens never suspected. What looked like farming communities were actually military training centers. What appeared to be harvest festivals were combat exercises. "Remember, this is just a community picnic," Ryan told his soldiers as they practiced weapon drills disguised as sports competitions. "But if anyone asks, these target shooting games are for hunting local animals." Ryan had organized all 3 colonies into a unified defense network. They used farming supply shipments to move weapons between planets. They held cultural exchange visits that were actually military strategy meetings. The alien observers enjoyed watching human social activities. Their reports described humans engage in recreational gathering behaviors. No military organization detected. Lieutenant Commander Ben Clark had been studying the communication equipment the aliens provided. As an electronics expert from the Navy, Ben knew there was more to these devices than simple radio transmission. Working in a hidden workshop beneath the Terra Nova settlement, Ben had modified the alien technology. His new scanners could detect objects in deep space that the original equipment was never meant to find. "Captain Brooks needs to see this," Ben told his assistant as he pointed to strange readings on his screen. "There's something big moving toward our sector of space." Ben's deep space scans had detected a massive fleet of unknown ships still months away from their location. The ships moved in perfect formation and seemed to be heading directly toward Federation space. Dr. Amy Foster worked in the science labs on Haven's Rest. She was a specialist in alien biology and had been studying the technology the Federation had given them. Amy had made a disturbing discovery. "These scanning devices work both ways," Amy explained to her research team. "While we use them to study our new planets, they're also sending information about us back to the Federation." Amy had learned to block these signals while making it look like the equipment was still working normally. The aliens continued to receive data, but now Amy controlled what they saw. "From now on, they only see what we want them to see," Amy said with a smile. "Captain." Lisa Brooks had become the unofficial leader of all 3 colonies. Her job was to coordinate between Terra Nova, New Eden, and Haven's Rest, but she was also preparing for something the aliens never expected. Lisa had overseen the construction of what looked like cargo ships for moving supplies between the colonies. In reality, these vessels were warships disguised as civilian transport craft. "The Federation thinks we're harmless farmers," Lisa told the other colony leaders during a secret meeting. "Let's make sure they keep thinking that." Dr. Susan Miller had spent 5 years mapping every mineral deposit on all 3 planets. Her discoveries were remarkable. The worlds contained rare elements that could be used to build advanced weapons and defensive systems. "The aliens either don't know what they gave us, or they never expected us to find these materials," Susan reported to the Colony Council. "Either way, we now have everything we need to defend ourselves." Susan's geological surveys had revealed underground cave systems perfect for hiding military equipment. Her teams had secretly built weapons factories deep beneath the surface of all 3 worlds. Commander Kate Sullivan had established a communication network that connected all 3 colonies instantly. But her system could do much more than send messages about crop reports and weather conditions. "We can coordinate fleet movements across 3 star systems," Kate explained to the military commanders. "The aliens think we're sending farming updates, but we're actually running tactical communications." Kate's network allowed the colonies to share resources, information, and military assets without the Federation knowing. If one colony was attacked, all 3 could respond as a unified force. Alex Carter had spent 5 years studying the ocean life on Terra Nova, but he had also been working on a secret project that combined his marine biology knowledge with military applications. "These creatures are perfect for underwater reconnaissance," Alex told Jake Morrison as they watched dolphin-like animals swimming near their base. "They're intelligent, loyal, and the aliens don't consider them a threat." Alex had trained teams of sea creatures to patrol the underwater areas around Terra Nova. They could detect approaching submarines or underwater installations that human technology might miss. Jake Morrison had become the head of planetary security. His job was supposed to be protecting the colonists from local wildlife and natural disasters. In reality, Jake had built a military force that could defend against alien invasion. "We have weapons the Federation has never seen," Jake reported during a classified briefing. "Human creativity combined with alien technology has produced some interesting results." Jake's soldiers used camouflaged armor that made them nearly invisible. Their weapons combined human explosives with alien energy technology. Their vehicles could travel on land, sea, or air depending on mission requirements. The Federation continued to receive regular reports from their monitoring stations. The reports showed exactly what the aliens expected to see: humans growing crops, raising families, and living peaceful lives on their new worlds. What the reports didn't show was the underground factories, hidden weapons, trained military forces, and advanced technology that the humans had developed. The aliens had no idea that their harmless colonies had become the most heavily armed planets in the galaxy. Dr. Rachel Green stood in her laboratory looking at her latest creation, a plant that could grow in the vacuum of space. "The aliens think we're simple farmers," she said to herself. "They have no idea what farmers can do when we put our minds to it." In hidden bunkers beneath all three colonies, human engineers worked on projects that would have amazed the Federation. They built weapons that could destroy entire fleets, defensive systems that could protect whole planets, and communication networks that spanned the galaxy. The aliens had given humans 3 backwater planets, thinking they were being generous to a primitive species. They had no idea they had created 3 fortress worlds defended by the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy, humans who had something to protect. Lieutenant Commander Ben Clark's deep space scanners continued to track the approaching alien fleet. The unknown ships were getting closer, and their intentions were clearly hostile. Soon, the galaxy would discover just how wrong they had been about humanity's harmless nature. But first, the humans needed more time to prepare. They continued their masquerade as simple farmers and peaceful colonists, while secretly building the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen. The Federation's greatest mistake was thinking that humans were harmless. Their second greatest mistake was giving them 3 planets and 5 years to prove otherwise. The warning message from the Galactic Federation arrived on a quiet Sunday morning. Captain Lisa Brooks was reviewing supply reports when every communication screen in the S3 colonies suddenly displayed the same urgent transmission. "Attention, human colonies," the message began. The alien voice that had once sounded friendly now carried fear and desperation. "A hostile force known as the Reaper Collective has entered your sector. Immediate evacuation is not possible. Defend your positions for as long as you can. Your sacrifice will buy time for Federation worlds to prepare." Lisa read the message twice before its full meaning sank in. The Federation was abandoning them. Worse, they had expected this to happen all along. Admiral Sarah Mitchell had been secretly promoted to commander of all 3 colonial fleets 6 months earlier. Her promotion was part of the hidden military structure the humans had built. Now she called an emergency meeting of all colony leaders. "So this was their real plan," Sarah said, as the leaders gathered in the secure command center beneath Terra Nova. "They put us here as cannon fodder, early warning systems that were supposed to die and give them time to run." General Ryan Hayes slammed his fist on the table. 50,000 people on each planet. 150,000 human lives that they considered expendable. Dr. Susan Miller pulled up geological surveys on the main screen. "It's worse than that. They knew exactly what these planets contained. These rare minerals we've been mining? They're the only known substances that can damage Reaper technology." Commander Kate Sullivan added her intelligence reports. A Federation has been fighting the Reaper Collective for decades. They've lost every battle. But these planets contain the materials needed to build effective weapons against them. They sent us here to die, said Dr. Amy Foster. But they also gave us the tools to fight back, even if they didn't know it. Lieutenant Commander Ben Clark's deep space scanners had been tracking the Reaper fleet for months. Now he had precise numbers. 12,000 ships approaching in formation, Ben reported. They'll reach our outer perimeter in 72 hours. These aren't exploration vessels. They're built for destruction. Captain Jeff Barnes commanded the hidden human fleet. His ships looked like civilian cargo vessels, but they carried weapons that combined human engineering with alien technology, in ways the original designers never imagined. How many ships do we have ready? Admiral Mitchell asked. 800 combat vessels across all 3 planets, Jeff replied, plus 1,500 support craft. The Federation thinks we have maybe 50 cargo ships total. Tony Rodriguez had spent the last year building weapons in his underground factories. His teams had worked around the clock, using the rare minerals from their planet to create something the galaxy had never seen. Our new missiles can track targets through hyperspace, Tony explained. The Reaper ships won't be able to escape. Once we lock onto them. Dr. Rachel Green had contributed to the war effort in her own way. Her genetically modified plants could survive in space and had been used to camouflage weapons platforms throughout the 3 star systems. The approaching fleet will see 3 peaceful farming colonies, Rachel said. They won't detect our defensive installations until it's too late. Alex Carter had trained his marine reconnaissance teams to gather intelligence on approaching enemies. His dolphin-like creatures had detected something important about the Reaper ships. Their hulls are made of living metal, Alex reported. But living things can be poisoned. The biological weapons Dr. Foster developed should work perfectly. Jake Morrison had transformed the colonists into a unified military force. Farmers who had trained in secret for 5 years were actually veteran soldiers. Construction workers were demolition experts. Teachers were intelligence officers. Every civilian on all 3 planets is a trained combatant, Jake announced. The Reapers think they're attacking helpless farmers. They're about to face the largest military force in human history. As the 72-hour countdown began, the human colonies revealed their true nature. Underground hangars opened to release fleets of warships. Mountain tops split apart to reveal massive defense cannons. Ocean floors rose up as underwater. Weapons platforms surfaced. The Federation monitoring stations detected massive energy signatures from all 3 human worlds. Panic spread through alien command centers as they realized what the humans had built. Impossible, whispered Kralvex, the alien who had first assessed humanity as harmless. Our sensors showed them as primitive farmers. Admiral Mitchell broadcast a message to the approaching Reaper fleet. She wanted them to know what they were facing. This is Admiral Sarah Mitchell of the Human Colonial Defense Force. You are entering sovereign human territory. Turn back now, or face the consequences. The Reaper response came immediately. Their ships did not slow down or change course. Instead, they accelerated toward the human colonies, confident that nothing could stop their advance. Major Chris Taylor commanded the ground forces on all 3 planets. His soldiers had trained for 5 years while pretending to be farmers and construction workers. Now they revealed weapons and tactics that combined human creativity with alien technology. Remember your training, Chris told his troops over the communication network. We've been preparing for this day since we arrived. Show them what happens when you underestimate humanity. The first Reaper scouts entered the outer edge of the human defense perimeter. Captain Barnes' hidden fleet let them pass, allowing the enemy to think the way was clear. The scouts reported back that the human colonies appeared defenseless. This was exactly what Admiral Mitchell wanted. Let them get close, she ordered. We want their main fleet committed before we reveal our strength. Dr. Susan Miller's underground. Weapons factories had produced enough ammunition to fight a war lasting several years. The rare minerals from their planets had been turned into weapons that could penetrate any known armor. The Reapers have conquered every other species they've encountered, Susan said, but they've never faced weapons made from these materials. Commander Kate Sullivan's communication network allowed all 3 colonies to fight as a single coordinated force. When the battle began, every weapon on every planet would fire in perfect synchronization. The Federation thought distance would prevent us from working together, Kate explained. They didn't realize we'd build a communication system more advanced than their own. As the Reaper main fleet approached, the humans made their final preparations. Underground bunkers sealed their entrances. Orbital weapons platforms powered up their energy cores. Fighter squadrons waited in hidden launch bays. The Federation had rated humanity as harmless and used them as expendable shields. They were about to discover that their assessment was the greatest mistake in galactic history. Admiral Mitchell stood on the command bridge of her flagship, watching as 12,000 enemy ships approached her 3 small worlds. By all logical calculations, the humans should have been destroyed in minutes, but humans had never been logical. They were creative, stubborn, and absolutely determined to protect what was theirs. The Federation had given them 3 planets and 5 years to prepare. They had used that time to build something the galaxy had never seen. A force capable of stopping the unstoppable Reaper Collective. All ships, all planets, all forces. Admiral Mitchell broadcast to her fleet. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity. Today we prove that the Federation's harmless rating was dead wrong. The largest battle in human history was about to begin. And for the first time in decades, the Reaper Collective was about to face an enemy that could fight back. The Reaper Collective's main fleet arrived expecting an easy victory. 12,000 warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, surrounding the 3 human worlds like a metal storm cloud. Admiral Sarah Mitchell watched from her command center as the enemy fleet took position. The Reapers had conquered 47 star systems using the same tactics. Overwhelming force, superior technology, and the complete destruction of anything that resisted. They're positioning exactly as our intelligence predicted, reported Commander Kate Sullivan. All ships are within range of our hidden weapons. The Reaper Fleet Commander sent a final surrender demand to the human colonies. The message was simple. Submit now, and your deaths will be quick. Admiral Mitchell responded with equal brevity. Come and take our worlds. The battle began at exactly 1400 hours, Galactic Standard Time. The Reaper fleet opened fire, with energy weapons that had destroyed entire planets. Massive beams of destructive force lanced down toward the 3 human colonies. But the beams struck deflector shields that rose from hidden generators scattered across all 3 worlds. The shields held firm, powered by the rare minerals Dr. Susan Miller's teams had been mining for 5 years. Impossible, the Reaper Fleet Commander transmitted. No species has ever deflected our primary weapons. Admiral Mitchell smiled as she gave her response. You've never fought humans before. Captain Jeff Barnes led the first human counterattack. His disguised cargo ships suddenly revealed their true nature as the most advanced warships in the galaxy. Hidden weapons bays opened, and missiles streaked toward the Reaper fleet. The missiles were unlike anything the Reapers had encountered. Built with rare alien minerals and guided by human ingenuity, they could track targets through hyperspace jumps and adapt to any defensive countermeasures. The first wave of missiles destroyed 300 Reaper ships in 30 seconds. The enemy fleet, which had never lost a single vessel to any Federation force, suddenly found itself under attack by weapons they couldn't defend against. Major Chris Taylor's ground forces revealed themselves as the Reaper fleet tried to land. Invasion troops. Hidden bunkers opened across all 3 planets, and human soldiers emerged with weapons that combined alien technology with human tactical innovation. All units engaged the enemy, Chris ordered, as thousands of human fighters struck the landing craft before they could reach the surface. Tony Rodriguez's underground factories had produced more than just missiles. His teams had built atmospheric defense platforms that rose from beneath mountain ranges and ocean floors. The platforms fired continuously, creating an impenetrable barrier around all 3 worlds. Dr. Rachel Green's biological weapons proved devastatingly effective against the Reaper ships. Her specially designed organisms could eat through the living metal hulls that had made the Reaper fleet seemingly invincible. "Their ships are dissolving," reported Dr. Amy Foster as she watched the biological agents spread through the enemy fleet. The living metal that was their greatest strength has become their weakness. The Reaper fleet commander tried to retreat, but Lieutenant Commander Ben Clark's deep space scanners had been tracking every ship since they arrived. Human fighters had positioned themselves to cut off all escape routes. "No one leaves, Admiral," Mitchell announced over the battlefield communications. "Today, the Reaper Collective ends here." Alex Carter's Marine reconnaissance teams provided crucial intelligence throughout the battle. His trained sea creatures had mapped underwater defensive positions and located hidden Reaper installations that standard scanners missed. Jake Morrison's planetary defense forces proved that humans could adapt any environment into a fortress. His soldiers fought from hidden positions in forests, mountains, and even underwater bases that the Reapers never suspected existed. The battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, the entire Reaper Collective fleet had been destroyed. Not a single enemy ship escaped. The force that had terrorized the galaxy for decades was completely eliminated, but the humans had paid a price. 1,500 colonists had died defending their worlds. Admiral Mitchell stood in the memorial garden on Terra Nova, reading the names of those who had given their lives to protect humanity's future. 2 days after the battle, a massive Federation fleet arrived at the human colonies. The aliens came expecting to find destroyed worlds and dead humans. Instead, they found thriving colonies and the wreckage of 12,000 Reaper ships. Fleet Admiral Zeke Morn of the Federation had commanded warships for 3 centuries. He had never seen anything like the destruction the humans had unleashed. "Request permission to meet with human leadership," the Federation Admiral transmitted. Admiral Mitchell granted the meeting, but she chose the location carefully. The Federation delegation would meet her aboard the human flagship Defiance, surrounded by the human fleet that had just accomplished the impossible. The Federation delegation included Kral Vex, the alien scientist who had originally assessed humanity as harmless. When he saw Admiral Mitchell's command ship, he understood how completely wrong his evaluation had been. "You deceived us," Kral Vex accused as he faced the human leaders. "We survived," Admiral Mitchell replied calmly. "You gave us 3 worlds because you thought we were harmless. You were wrong." Dr. Alex Carter, now serving as Earth's first galactic ambassador, presented the Federation with humanity's new demands. The mild-mannered marine biologist had become a skilled diplomat, but his message was clear. The Federation will recognize the Human Colonial Alliance as a major galactic power, Alex stated. "We demand voting rights in the Federation Council, reparations for using us as expendable shields, and the right to establish colonies throughout the galaxy." Fleet Admiral Zeke Morn tried to maintain his authority. "The Federation does not negotiate with primitive species." General Ryan Hayes stepped forward. His 5 years of secret military preparation had transformed him into one of the most effective military commanders in the galaxy. "Primitive?" Ryan asked. "We just destroyed the Reaper Collective, the same enemy that has defeated your forces for 40 years. Would you like to test our primitiveness personally? The Federation delegation realized they had no choice. The humans had proven their military superiority. More importantly, they controlled the only known source of materials that could stop the Reapers if they ever returned. Dr. Susan Miller presented her geological surveys to the Federation scientists. These 3 worlds contain enough rare minerals to build weapons for the entire galaxy, she explained. But only humans know how to extract and use them effectively. Commander Kate Sullivan demonstrated the human communication network that could coordinate fleets across multiple star systems instantly. Our technology is now more advanced than Federation systems, she announced. The negotiations lasted 3 days. In the end, the Federation agreed to all human demands. The Human Colonial Alliance became the newest major power in galactic politics, with full voting rights and territorial expansion privileges. Tony Rodriguez was appointed as the new Director of Galactic Mineral Resources. His mining operations would supply rare materials to Federation worlds, but under human control and at human prices. Dr. Rachel Green became the galaxy's leading expert on biological warfare and agricultural development. Her techniques could feed entire star systems or defend them against biological attacks. Captain Jeff Barnes was promoted to Fleet Admiral and given command of the new human space navy. His innovative ship designs would become the standard for all Federation military vessels, a ceremony marking humanity's acceptance into the Federation. As a major power was held on Terra Nova, representatives from dozens of alien species came to pay their respects to the humans who had accomplished what no one thought possible. As the celebration continued, Admiral Mitchell stood on a hilltop overlooking the main colony. 5 years ago, the aliens had brought them here expecting them to die as expendable warning systems. Instead, humans had built 3 of the most powerful military installations in the galaxy. Jake Morrison joined her on the hilltop, looking out at the thriving colony below. So what's next? He asked. Sarah smiled as she watched human ships departing for new star systems, carrying colonists who would establish the next generation of human worlds. The Federation gave us 3 planets because they thought we were harmless, she said. Now we're going to show them what happens when harmless humans decide they want more. In the months that followed, human colonies spread throughout the galaxy. Each new world became a fortress, defended by humans who remembered the lesson of Terra Nova, New Eden, and Haven's Rest. The galaxy had learned too late that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their weapons. It was their ability to adapt, survive, and turn any challenge into an opportunity for growth. Dr. Alex Carter returned to his work with marine life, but now he studied the oceans of a dozen different worlds. The aliens who had once watched him feed dolphins now sought his advice on planetary defense and biological research. The Federation's assessment of humanity as Class 7 harmless entities became a cautionary tale told throughout the galaxy. It reminded all species that appearances could be deceiving, and that the most dangerous enemies were often those who appeared weakest. On Earth, children learned about the Great Migration and the Battle of 3.